Hey friends, this is the Miss Wolfie from our Half Acre Homestead, and today we're going to make a traditional classic Italian Christmas recipe, panettone. Okay, so what you're going to need is 4 to 5 cups of flour, to which I've added a half a teaspoon of salt. You're going to need a 1/4 cup of sugar. I'm using organic cane sugar. You're going to need a tablespoon of dry active yeast, 2 eggs, a tablespoon of lemon zest, and a half a cup of non-fat yogurt, plain, buttermilk, or in this case, what all I have, which is milk, which I've dropped a 1/4 teaspoon of lemon juice in to give it a sour. And a half a cup of dried fruit of your choice. I'm using apricots and raisins. And a cup of warm water, which I haven't got yet because I want to get the temperature right. Now folks, please don't email me and tell me this is not traditional panettone. This is my version of panettone, working with what I got on hand. Okay, let's get started. You're also going to need a traditional panettone tin, which I don't have, so I'm using a clean number 10 can, which I'm going to line with my wetted parchment and some cooking spray. Okay, first and foremost, I'm going to put my 1 cup of warm water, and I always make it a little bit warmer than you should because my bowl is stainless steel and it cools down going in there. My 1/4 cup of sugar and my tablespoon of yeast. And we're just going to let that proof. I'm going to put some boiling water over these to plump them up a bit. And we'll set all this other stuff aside for the moment. Now, folks, you know me. I don't normally use cooking spray, but I don't want to cut myself on the edge. Okay, so let's prepare our pan. I've just got some plain oil cooking spray, and I'm just going to line the pan with it. And then I've got my wet parchment. Put this down inside. A, because it'll make it come out easier, and B, because this is a number 10 can. God only knows what it's lined with, folks. So we're just going to line it with some parchment, and I'm just going to press it to the sides and hope that it sticks to the oil. Okay, our yeast is instant yeast, so it really doesn't have to proof. So before I start mixing in my flour and stuff, I'm going to use my whisk attachment. And I forgot you need a teaspoon of a teaspoon of vanilla as well. So I'm going to add my eggs, my milk. I've added the salt to my flour. Why? Because we always add it to the flour so that it doesn't kill the yeast. And my lemon zest. And now we're going to give that a good thorough mixing. I'm going to add my teaspoon of vanilla. Now I'm going to take off the whisk and put on our dough hook. And we're going to start adding our flour. A half a cup to a cup at a time. Our fruit we're going to add after it rises. We're going to knead it in. Okay, our dough is ready. And I'm just going to, as I do with my regular bread, I'm just going to drop a little bit of avocado oil in the bottom of the bowl. Give it one stir, just to cover the dough. Thank you, cowgirl. And we're going to drop this and make sure it's completely coated in the oil. And I'm going to cover it with a clean dish towel and put it in the oven with just the oven light on to rise for about an hour. Okay, so here's our panettone dough, all nicely doubled in bulk. We're going to punch it down. That's my oven ready for my shortbread. And I'm going to turn this out onto my floured cloth. We're going to let it rest for a minute while I put my shortbread in the oven. Okay. Now, like I said, there's a lot of things you can put in panettone. You can put nuts and all different kinds of dried fruit. This just happens to be the dried fruit I have on hand. And I have poured boiling water over it to soften them up a bit. Now we're just going to knead this right into the bread. You know, whether it's Stollen or panettone or just plain raisin cinnamon bread, it's one of those holiday traditions, you know, dried fruit, nuts, and seasonings. This is pretty simple, this one. And then I'm just going to pinch it together, and I'm going to put it in my can. If you have a panettone pan, great. I don't. So we're just going to put that in there and cover it again with our clean dish towel, and I'm now going to just set this on top of the stove, on the center of the stove. Why? Because, oh well, I've got shortbread in the oven and this will keep it warm. All right, we'll be back when this is ready to go in the oven. And here it is, ready to go in the oven at 350 degrees for 45 minutes. Okay, our timer has gone off. Let's get our panettone out of the oven. Oh, it smells good. It smells all fruity and citrusy. I had to lower my oven rack because it was going to get too... How do I get this out? Hopefully it should just pop out. If you don't have a panettone pan, use a number 10 can. Just line it with parchment. And there it is, our festive panettone. I'd let Papa try it, but he just finished supper and we're all full. This is the Miss Wolfie from our half-acre homestead saying, panettone, a festive Italian Christmas tradition.